Hey, this is Dawn Reby, founder of Excellence in Analytics. And today we are going to talk about how to prepare to get the most out of a conference. And so I'm just going to give a shout out. If you haven't already got the book, Building a Crime Analysis Legacy, go ahead to excellenceinalytics.com and the book tab will bring you right to getting that book, as well as a really cool video. All right, so here we go. How do we prepare for a conference to really make it work for us? Get your pens, get your papers, get them out, because this is going to help you find great success at any conference that you go to. So right now I'm preparing to go to the IACA conference in Chicago, Illinois, where I will be meeting many people who I've been virtually connecting with. So I want to make sure that my time is spent well, that I learn a ton, and that I also really maximize my time there. So I'm going to give you what I do, and hopefully it will help you prepare for any conference in a successful way. So here we go. Number one, I print everything out and put it in one folder. And why do I do this? Because when I'm at the airport trying to flip through things or trying to book an Uber or do the thing, right? I always like I'm flipping through my phone and maybe I don't have reception, or maybe it's tucked away in a folder, in a folder, in a folder, and it says nothing available. I don't want to deal with any nonsense. So I print out the agenda, I print out my flight, I print out my hotel location, I print it all flipping out so that I don't have any questions, that I can just go to my handy dandy folder and everything important is in that folder. That folder also is great if you need to save your receipts. I just throw them right in that folder. And what I do is this little summary. Oh, it might be tricky for you to see right here. This little summary of how the day's going to look, right? Like drop off my kid at the babysitter at X time, book an Uber at X time, so that I have a flow of the day, maybe even the week. Not too specific for the week, because you really want to give yourself some time there, but really just getting there. All right. So write out your trip plan, get it in order so that you know where you're going. The worst thing that can happen is you are trying to figure out what's the name of the hotel. Well, we have Hilton, and then there's 7 Hiltons, and you don't know which one it is. So write it down ahead of time, just plan it out, get your folder ready, and off you go, right? Number two-ish, three, right? Pack comfortable, right? You don't have to wear super duper suits and all kinds of stuff. You know, wear shoes, wear things that work for you to be walking around and hustling and bustling, right? So pack with comfort in mind. And I have some fun tips around how to pack so that you don't have to pack too many shoes and that kind of thing. All right. Number three, list of connections. Now, this is important. What I always do is I take, first of all, the conference, you know, packet, right? So the conference packet will tell me who is teaching and what they are teaching. You can also get a list of people who might be attending, right? Maybe you have asked around and you see different people who are attending that you don't often get to see. So I literally write a list of the connections that I must make while I'm there. And I put it in a little sheet like this, okay? And I say, okay, I need to connect with Manny San Pedro. He is, from Canada, and he does the podcast all about analysis. And I've been on his podcast. I know he's going to be there. I'm going to seek him out, right? So I have a little, who he is, a little information so I don't forget. I mean, of course, I am not going to forget who Manny is, right? But maybe there's somebody on the list that has reached out to you, or that see they're presenting something that's amazing and you want to connect with them. Put them on this list. Have at least 5 people. If this is the first time you're doing this, have at least 5 people that you must connect with on this trip. All right. At least 5 people that you must connect with. Now, I've been going to training for years and years and years, and I've met a lot of people along the way. And I know a lot of people who are going to this particular training. So you bet that I'm going to put them all here so that I don't get lost in the chaos of it all, because it can be quite chaotic. So writing out a list of the connections that you want. I mean, this can be just scribbling things down. If it's 5 people, you can just scribble it down. For me, I really want to remember something meaningful about, our last contact. And so I'll put that down so that when I am on at this conference, I'm not forgetting or mixing people up or whatever it might be. So I put it down. I listed here a bunch of my clients who I've never met in person are going to be here at the training conference. And so you bet I want to, bring them a book or bring them some lip balm or something that I've made to just celebrate them. There's some people here that I've really valued their research. I've followed their research, and so I'm going to want to meet them. And so what I write down is what their research is all about and the thing that I valued most about it, so that I make sure I don't forget. I make sure that I see them, that I share that with them. So this connection list is key. Conferences are all about connection. They're not all about learning. So for those of you who think conferences are all about learning, yes, you will learn lots of great things at a conference, but connection is key in these conferences, particularly in law enforcement conferences. Connection is key, right? And so really that's the goal of the conference, connecting. And you're going to learn and you're going to connect. Okay. So we got the list of contacts. Okay, pick 3 to 5 must go to presentations. Look through the guide for the presentations, right? So in this case, it's an IACA training, and I look through the training and I highlight, right? I highlight where I want to go. There's some really amazing trainings that are happening. So I want to highlight, which one I'm going to make sure that I go to, so that I can plan out where the room is located, so that I can, make sure that I'm saying hi and hello and thank you to that presenter. In fact, one of my old students, one of my students, when I used to teach at a university, at a college, one of my students has now transitioned into being a leader of a fusion center of other analysts, and I can't wait to go and support her. So you bet I've printed this out and I've highlighted exactly who I want to support and go to. Now, I have to say, when you get there, things might seem exciting and you want to leave some wiggle room and margin to do that kind of stuff too. But I know that I want to support her. So I'm going to highlight that to make sure I get there. Okay. So pick 3 to 5 presentations that you absolutely must go to. The rest can kind of flow and you can kind of look at what seems interesting throughout the day. But the 3 to 5 is really going to be key. And then the next thing is pack healthy snacks. Oh my gosh, do not depend on yourself getting food while you're there, because, fuel is really important for you as you are moving through a conference. You are connecting more. And I don't know, if you're anything like me, I really like my quiet. And so sometimes when I'm at these conferences, it takes a lot of effort to connect and to learn and to connect and to learn. And then, maybe you're even doing a little work on the side to make sure that you don't fall behind. I'm not sure, right? But there's a lot of energy exerted from not being in your space, in your own place, right? And so packing healthy snacks for me really makes sure that I don't reach in and grab candy all day and I'm not healthy. So I'll pack at least one healthy bar per day, and maybe I'll pack some Brazil nuts so I can have a few of those a day, maybe some almonds, maybe a trail mix. That's quite healthy. And so a lot of that can be packed right in your suitcase, and you know that you have something. It's great for the hotel room too, because maybe you come in between meetings and you want to pop into your hotel room for a quick snack, and you have some healthy things available there for you. So I pack tea, I pack snack so that I have some options available to me, and I'm not starving and sitting at these meetings starving or chomping on chocolate chip cookies all day, right? So that's a key. So the next thing is, look at the community that you're going to ahead of time and find at least two fun things to do. Now, a lot of times these conferences will have, tours and like maybe a visit to the police department, or maybe a boat tour or things like that, the local police department, right? So we're heading out to Chicago. And one of the things that a team is organizing is a trip to the Chicago Police Department. That to me is a pretty neat thing, right? Some others are booking boat tours, right? So those are kind of cool things. But what you might also want to do is research what is meaningful for you. If history is meaningful for you, then research some historical sites in the area. For me, nature is really important for me. So I'm going to research maybe some conservation land or a park, or, something that I can maybe Uber to that isn't too far away where I can plant my feet. And so when I go out to California, I like to make sure that it's by the water. When I go down to Texas, they have some really cool bat things. Yes, bats that fly, right? When I go out to down to Florida, I might want to see some family. So pick two non-work related things that you want to do while you are there. And that's really, going to enhance your experience. Because when you're only work, 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 right? Then I've done this. I've done this where I'm work, 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 work. I go there and I literally leave and I don't get to explore the community. So see how the locals live, go somewhere local, go somewhere where you can really get a sense of what it's like. So Chicago, what is Chicago like? And so that might take a little research because I heard some things about Chicago, but I'm going to make sure that I find two places that I want to visit. When I was in Arizona, I found this really cool Japanese tea place where it was a ceremony around Japanese tea and how it really nourishes your body. And it was a whole big thing. Anyway, so you go find these things and then you can remember and enjoy your trips to these business trips in a way that really is fulfilling, right? And holistically fulfilling. Okay. I think we're on number 8 at this point. Schedule in, maybe it's not scheduled in, but allow yourself quiet time. So a lot of you might say to yourself, Dawn, you're so outgoing. You're always like talking to people. Well, what's funny is I also consider myself an introvert. So when I'm done presenting or when I'm done meeting a lot of people, like I just need like quiet. I just need real Dawn time. And so don't be afraid to say no to some lunches or even a training time, right? Maybe some people are inviting you for dinner and you've been out every night and you're just tuckered out, right? Be okay with having quiet time just for you. If you like to meditate, find a really great spot to meditate. But be okay with finding quiet time. It really will help you have a successful conference, right? So you're going to be stimulated. There's lots of training, there's lots of new ideas. You might be stressed. You might be away from your family and kind of missing some people. You might be in a new community and being like, I don't know anyone, so it's okay to schedule in some quiet time for you to really settle in and recognize, I need some quiet time. For me, when I present, I almost need a detox, right? If I'm up there for an hour and a half and I'm talking, I love it. I love it. I enjoy it. It's exciting. But I need a moment where I can drink a cup of tea, listen to some birds, and be by myself, right? Be okay with finding quiet time. Number 9, connection notes. You're going to meet a lot of people. And I'm going to give you a very, very fun tip that's going to be your lifelong tip, right? So get ready for it. I'm about to share with you something that is a tip and a trick of like beyond amazing. Like this is the one thing that I want you to get away from this particular session here is connection notes. You're going to meet a lot of people. So I actually have a separate folder that I'm bringing, right? A separate little notepad that I'm bringing that literally when I meet people, when I meet people, I'm going to write down everything that I just learned about them. Here's the thing. It's going to be a whirlwind, right? And when you come back to your office, you're just going to be packed with work and, you're going to forget about all these great relationships that you started or that you nourished, right? And nurtured. So what I love to do is keep a notebook, my connection notebook nearby. So, and I have a couple of different notebooks. So I'm going to share with you, or pages rather, I'm going to share with you. One is the connection page. So let's say I meet you, your name is Sally, and you tell me all about, your 4 kids are there with you and they're swimming right now. And you're about to go do that. And you run a crime analysis unit out in Nevada. And your number 1 challenge is data quality, right? Or maybe you like yoga or whatever it is, right? When I'm done meeting with you, when I'm done getting to know you a little bit better and maybe a couple people, I like run off to a quiet spot and I'm like, okay, Sally from Nevada, supervises a crime analysis unit, has 4 kids, who love to swim. And so I might write down some notes about you because you will forget. And when you follow up, which will be the end of this training, when you follow up with people, you don't want to forget who you met and you don't want to forget the details about them. So I might even write, redhead with glasses and really, great sense of style, right? And that'll help me jog my memory. So I have my connection notepad where I'm writing down details about the people that I meet. That is the biggest tip that I want you to walk away with. I have a few more, but that's the biggest one. Well, I have one other big one. And so the connection notes are going to really help you connect with people in such a significant way. And it's going to help really reduce some of the stress around meeting people because, you know, you're going to have it organized in a way that you can remember who everybody is, right? It's not going to be like this blur of people that just happened and you don't know who's who. So a connection notebook. In that notebook, I also have a section, I flip it on over and I say books, articles, research. In conferences, there's all kinds of books, just like this one. There's all kinds of books. In fact, I'm bringing a couple of my books. I'm bringing this one here, Bigger Than Data, and I'm bringing this one here, Building a Crime Analysis Legacy. And there's other books that maybe you're in a training and an instructor is like, oh, my favorite book is, right? And, or my favorite article, or, you know, you should listen to this podcast, right? So they're giving you things to do. They're giving you things to do. And so I have a little section that I'll write, you know, books, podcasts, that kind of thing. And I will literally, you know, as I'm taking my notes throughout the training, someone says, this is a great book. I flip to my book section and I say, great book, right? Sally said it was a great book. And when I read that book, I'm going to reach back out to Sally and say, that was a phenomenal book, if that's true. Right. And thank you for sharing it with me in the conference, you know, in 2022 in Chicago. Okay, so having a notebook that has your connections and has your like resources, right? Your resources that you're going to go do. The last part of your notebook should have a section called action steps. Now, this is key. Action steps. When you go to a conference, your world is often spinning all throughout. You're going to have all these ideas, all these things that you want to do. So I have a section in my notebook. Every conference, I write action steps. And I literally, as things are coming to my mind, oh, I want to implement that. Oh, I want to learn more about that. Oh, this is really good to tell my chief, right? As that's happening, I'm going to the section of my notebook that says action steps, and I'm writing 1, you know, tell chief about this program. 2, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, right? So I write down all these action steps. At the end of the conference, right, I'll have a bunch of action steps and I'll highlight the top 3 that must be done within the first week I return, right? So I'll have all these action steps, all these cool things that I've learned how to do that I want to do someday, and I'll highlight the 3 that I must do that first week. Action steps. If you go to a conference and you don't have any action steps that you implement, if you're not inspired to do something differently, then why the heck did you go to the darn thing in the first place, right? These conferences often give me some amazing ideas. And so I might go to a conference and say, whoa, I really didn't know about kernel density and you know, the difference between kernel density and ellipses. And I'm really going to apply that concept to my next CompStat meeting, right? I'm going to write that down, apply kernel density / ellipse concepts to my next CompStat as my action step. And at the end of the conference, I go through all my action steps and highlight the 3 that I must do. All right. So that's a big one. Okay. So that was a lot. I got some more. So take a deep breath. Okay, we ready for a couple of more? So we have, if you're writing these down, you know, or if you're just joining in halfway through, go ahead to the beginning and some of these, printing out your folder, writing out your plan, creating the list of your connections ahead of time, even connecting with them ahead of time. Like I love doing this. I love saying, hey, Annie Mitchell, right? Because she lives out in California right now and she's moving, but she lives out there right now. I like to say, hey, I know you're going to be at the conference. I'd love to connect with you once we get there. Let's keep in touch. So she's kind of on my radar to connect with. So if you don't know Annie already, she's amazing. And, you know, these are the kind of relationships that I love nurturing when I'm out in these different kind of events. So I'll reach out to them ahead of time and say, hey, I would love to connect with you, right? Okay. The pack the healthy snacks, 2 fun events that you might, or places you want to go to, finding quiet time, your connection notes, your research notes, or not research, resources notes, and then your action steps notes, like those kind of blocks, right? That you have in your notebook. So when you get there, once you get there, once you get to the conference, take a breath. Just take a breath, because here's the thing. Don't feel guilty about not going to everything. You're not going to go to everything. You might need a break smack in the middle of the day. You might need to sleep in. You might need, to detox at night. Like, there are things that you are going to need. So really find the gym. When I get to the hotel, the first thing I do is I say, where's the gym? Is there anything cool nearby that I can go to? Right. And just kind of get a lay of the land. The gym for me is important. I love working out. I love yoga. It really helps get me going for the day. So what time does the gym open? Because I'm a 5 a.m. person, right? So I'm going to want to go to the gym first thing in the morning and then come back and get ready for my day, right? So when you get there, find the things that are going to bring you joy, right? That's the first thing. Okay, so now you've gone to this conference, you've taken breaks, you've met people, your notebook is filled with connections, people that you connected with. It's filled with resources and things that you want to go look up afterwards. It's filled with your connection notes. It's filled with your action steps. So now you're at the end of the conference, maybe on the flight home, and you're kind of looking through all of these notes and you're going through those action steps and you're defining the 3 things that you got to do, right? In order to make it purposeful, 3 things that you have to do upon returning, right? Here's another thing that you want to make sure that you do. You want to send your chief or whoever sent you to this conference a thank you note, right? Here's the thing, this is a lot of analysts just go to these things, and the chiefs, the executives, they don't understand the value that this kind of training brings. So when you think about the key things that you learned at this conference, you want to send a note to your chief that says, super simple, 1-pager, like with bullets, like nothing major, that says, hey chief, thank you so much for sending me to this training. It was so valuable. I got to connect with a lot of people, maybe from different agencies, DEA, HIDA, whatever it might be, that I otherwise would not have gotten connected with. Here are 3 big things that I learned while I was there that I'm going to work on implementing here, right? And, number 1, I learned how to create, a buy-in strategy. Number 2, and you kind of go through the 3 big things that you learned and what you plan to change and do once you return. And, thank you. Looking forward to next year's conference, right? And then you can even write in the dates there to prep them. And so here's the thing. When you do that, you make it so that somebody sent you somewhere and there was purpose to that. Okay. Don't forget, it is very difficult for a lot of analysts and supervisors to get the training that they deserve and that they need, right? To do their functions appropriately. When you go to these conferences and you bring back value, it is worth it to them. So make sure that you write your little thank you note. It can be something super simple. It could be an email. It can be a shake of a hand. And these are 3 things that I learned. Bring them back some pamphlets, whatever it might be. Okay. So make sure that that happens. The second thing you want to do is the people that you connected with, connect with them when the conference ends. So now you have your little laundry list of people that you connected with. Maybe you wrote some notes about them, right? Reach out to them, maybe give it a week, right? So that they can get settled in. Figure out, how can I provide value to this person? How can I provide value to this person? So let's say I met Deb Peel for the first time. Now, Deb and I go way back, and though I have already met her multiple times, we teach so many classes together. But let's say I met her for the first time, and I know that she really loves running, let's say, and she was really looking for a new running shoe. And maybe I'm a runner too. And maybe I really, I just bought a new pair of running shoes that I really liked. So I might reach out to her and be like, hey, Deb, so good seeing you at the conference. It was really great getting to know you personally. Hey, by the way, I thought of you when I bought these running sneakers. I know that you were looking for some, and then you provide a link to those running sneakers, right? Or maybe you met a chief at one of these trainings, or maybe a supervisor that you admire, and you reach out to them and you figure out, how can I provide value? So when you're at the conference, you want to be keeping little notes of what would be helpful to this person. impression of increase? How can you provide value to people even after the conference is over? And so maybe you write out, okay, if I have 5 people that I'm going to do this for, or 10 people that I'm going to do this for, maybe, I can't do it all at once. So maybe I say, okay, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, how can I provide value to these people? And then stay connected, reach out and be like, Annie, it was so good seeing you. I know that you're moving to X location. I found a really cool thing over there that I thought of you. And, and here's a link to it, right? Provide value, right? Figure out how to provide value. Maybe you met another analyst and they were really struggling with CompStat. Maybe you can send them your CompStat template, redacted if you need to them and say, hey, it was so great meeting you at the conference. I think that this CompStat template might help you, or I hope it helps you. Here you go. Find a way to provide value, okay? And stay connected. Stay connected. Connection is so key. So post your conference, you want to thank your people, you thank your chief or executives, you want to make contact with the people that you connected with. And then you want to do, the last thing is you want to do those 3 to 5 action steps. So you highlighted the couple of action steps that you're going to do within the first week. Do them, implement them, make change, shift, do the thing. All right. So I realize that I've given you a ton of stuff to think about at a conference. Most of all, sit back and enjoy. Sit back and enjoy. Enjoy that you are there meeting people who believe in what you believe in, maybe, right? Sit back and enjoy that this is a new experience for you. There's a lot of things in this video that will help you make a conference successful. And I hope that you gathered some value from this. Certainly wrote some notes down, things that you can do. Don't feel pressured to do anything and everything. I've been going to conferences for 25 years. These are the things that I find are most helpful and most valuable to me. And you might have some advice for me that worked for you, right? So I hope that you found value in this video about how to make a conference successful. I'm Dawn Reby, and I'm happy to share these and other tips with you. Be sure to subscribe to our Excellence in Analytics YouTube page or wherever you saw this, and I'd be ever grateful. So there's a ton of resources available for you in our YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe here. Leadership, analysts, work-life balance, all of that is here for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.